So, hey everyone. I just really want to say thank you, all our speakers, all our sponsors, all of y'all. We did it. We pulled this off, but only because y'all made it happen too. Y'all trusted us, believed in us. I'm gonna cry up here. No, really, really appreciative. We're gonna do this again next year. We'll tell you all about that in a bit. So I, last year, did a big data study, literally site audit 1 million websites. We don't need to talk about me. Lots of cool data there, lots of issues. Sites are a mess. The web is messy in general. You can actually see the full data, but I'm not going to cover the full data here. There was a sub-study also with hreflang, like 300 and some thousand, 374,000 domains? All the issues there. There's a whole hreflang study there. We have a cool visualization tool for hreflang clusters. It's complex, but that makes it super easy to see what's screwed up in this. The thing is, just because something's a best practice doesn't mean it's actually important. So the most common issues are the ones people aren't actually solving. They're not actually working on this, because sometimes it costs more to fix something than the value that actually provides. And prioritization of the fixes is hard. I use an impact effort matrix, so I try and say okay, how big is the scale? How much impact is this gonna have? How much is this gonna cost me? When can I do this? And try and figure out what am I gonna work on? What am I actually gonna go fix? What am I just gonna let slide and never fix potentially because it costs too much? And there's a lot of things like that. Again, best practices, things you should do. There's a lot of things that are flagged even in our site audit that I'm just nope, never gonna touch that. So you may think why do SEO tools do this? Why do they flag things? Well, there could be other issues that you want to dig into. A lot of the feedback has been well, we use it for sales. Oh, big red number, lots of issues. Sell that to a client. There's a lot of different variables that impact prioritization for different issues. Just gonna give a few examples of those, broken pages. So the whole thing, if a tree falls in the woods, does anyone hear the sound? So if no one actually goes to that page, if it's not being hit, if there's no links to the page, it's broken, do I care? No. Some people are I have to fix those 37,000 broken pages. I'm nah, it's okay. No one ever sees it. Not even bad for UX at that point if no one sees it, right? So it's not just SEO. I could argue that from a UX. And you can set all kinds of business logic for this stuff. So how many hits in the last 30 days? Do I want to redirect it? Or how many links? Blah, 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 redirect it. I think this got shared out earlier by someone else, Sam, I think. Full text matching redirect script. It's also a question of, do you even bother? Sometimes the redirects were there, but then they got lost or whatever. There's a big study on this that I did. I deleted a bunch of redirects over a year. Google said it wouldn't do anything. It didn't do anything. So, exactly. I personally am usually a fan of keeping redirects forever, but if you want to set business logic and say after a year or two, just delete the redirects, clean up your system, seems to actually be okay. I was very skeptical about that, by the way. It's I'm gonna screw some stuff up. Multiple H1 tags. I still see this. It's flagged, and this is allowed. The only question really is, are they relevant? If you have multiple and they're all relevant, who cares? Good. You're all good. I don't know why a lot of SEOs focus on this. Broken images, again, tree falls in the woods. No one sees it. No one goes to that page. Do I care if an image is broken on the page? No one sees it. No. Then there are things that SEOs tend to prioritize too high. One is duplicate content. Usually the page is going to be indexed one way or another. You're oh, well, why is this indexed with a parameter? Does it impact anything? Not really. A lot of the web is duplicate content, 60% according to Google. They're pretty good at figuring this out. Like they have this whole canonicalization system, like 20 or so different signals, and they figure out which version of the page to index. Yeah, they get it wrong sometimes, but again, it's indexed one way or another. All the signals usually consolidate. I don't care. It's fine. Orphan pages. I love when people like focus on this because I'm like, you didn't care enough to actually link to it, but you think the page is important. Fascinating. And then whatever's new, there's always popular. You know, for a while it was like mobile friendliness, core web vitals. There was the whole like mobile-geddon thing. They're like, oh, it's going to be the end of the world if your site isn't mobile friendly, and thud, nothing happened. There are some things you should worry about though. Again, the web is messy. What do you actually want to fix? For me, this is actually things you should not worry about. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. One thing, redirect chains. You know, I don't even look at these until they get like greater than 5. Some people are like, well, it slows down, blah, blah, blah. Someone clicks that, it's probably like 0.003 seconds to follow that chain. It's fine. They'll follow up to 10 hops usually, so until it gets over 5, I don't even look, I don't bother. Why do that work? Like basically no impact whatsoever. Everything is consolidated. Double slashes in URLs, all this ignored. I could give 1,000 examples for all of these, but I only have 30 minutes, by the way. Some hreflang things. Use an underscore instead of a dash. Guess what? No one cares. Google's fine with it. Or even, I've seen this in a lot of hreflang articles actually mention like E and UK. They're like, that's for Ukraine. No, that would be UA actually. UK is a reserved code. And so back when Google had a report on this, if someone used E in UK, there was no error in the report in GSC, ever. It always swapped properly, never was an issue. Never seen it be an issue in my entire career. But some people are like, you need to fix that. Well, it's working. It's good to probably continue to work until it actually breaks something. I don't care. What you actually should do is focus on ROI. If a site actually was like, I'm going to fix everything, I'm going to be like, you're going to waste so much money. You should not do that. It's ridiculous. Again, best practice versus like practical. Google's like, yeah, you should fix all your blah, blah, blah. No, like, no, there's no business case for it to be made. I'm a big fan of just taking the easy wins. Go after the things that matter the most, the things that are going to have the most impact. So one thing, content security policy, this isn't going to have a huge impact, any impact really. But if you want to fix it, it's very simple. You can do upgrade insecure requests. It's going to fix every mixed content issue on your entire website, and that's all you got to do. It takes 2 minutes. I've literally seen teams with like, we have like 2,000 links we need to go change, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? Alt attributes. Not the biggest like SEO issue. Literally just counts for, so it helps in image search. Let me get that out of the way. But for like ranking of the page itself, literally whatever you put there counts as like content on the page. That's it. Where it is a problem, it's like accessibility or like legal issues. So people can be sued in the US because, you didn't make your, I gotta stay away from that apparently. Because you actually need your website to be accessible. If not, lawsuits, millions of dollars. It happens all the time. How about redirects? So my ultimate everything for redirects is like, I don't want to touch it. Again, I wrote that redirect matching script, but like that's just the start. That does the matching for the pages. You can store all your old content, all your new content, have the matches just output right there. Like here's the matches, like top 3, top 5, top 1, however you want to do it. And say like, do you actually want to do this? So you could have it with a click and say like, or you literally can automate and say like, just do the redirect to the next closest thing automatically for me. I never have to look at a redirect. Or you can say like, okay, click a button to approve this, or like, I want this page instead of this page. So here's the top 3, choose which one you want to go to. And like make it stupid simple for people. So I've seen too many companies that actually have like business people that go put in redirects. And do you want to guess how often that goes wrong? It is a lot. So I would make this as simple as possible for people, and it can be fully automated. It can be partially automated with like approvals or whatever you need to do to actually get it through. So what should you care about? Page is not indexed, it should be. Not indexed, you're not going to get traffic. Simple. Internal links. By the way, my slides, I have been busy organizing this, so I did not get a chance to do design whatsoever. Finished these like yesterday. I'm the bad one here. Maybe like page level no follow. I'm typically not a fan. If you no follow a page, the page level, all the internal links get no followed. If it's user-generated content on the page, maybe I want to do that, but we really don't even know how Google is treating these anymore. This is the fun thing. Gary Ish years ago was like, oh yeah, we're gonna like start following, no follow. And he's like, well, if we ever start like counting the links, then we'll tell the SEO community. And he's like, yeah, I never asked them about that. So do they count no follow links? They might now. But until someone over there actually goes and asks, he's supposed to tell us. But until he asks, we don't know. Redirects, I'm a big fan of redirects. Why? I mean, did you know how much money people spend on like link building, link acquisition, digital PR? All those links go to these pages, and then 2 years later, someone's like, let's just delete that page, and all the links go bye-bye. Easy, easy win. hreflang, some hreflang issues can be very expensive. I had one with a lot of other contributing factors, terrible business logic. People landed on the wrong country. Forms were not forwarded, lots of bad things. It was on an e-commerce site, and it was losing about $6.5 million a day. Like, they couldn't check out. They go there, and they're like, you can't use this. And we're like, well, simple thing was first, like, let's just try it, like, get people to the right place, or throw up a thing, you're in the wrong country. But yeah, the checkout would not work on these 4 people in the wrong country. So $6.5 million a day. That issue broke across like 120-some thousand pages and took about 8 months to clear up from after everything was fixed. And, you know, this is one of those things where they're like, can you just call someone at Google? No, no. Sorry, like, all the work for fixing it was done within like a day, and we just had to wait months for everything to be recrawled and fixed. But that was massively painful. Painful for me too, because everyone, sorry, it's fixed, I promise, but you have to wait. There's a lot of JavaScript issues. Probably the biggest one that will impact things like your content not being loaded in the DOM by default, anyway. We are absolutely in exciting times. I hope y'all have seen that with all this AI, everything here. The world is changing. We're at the very start of this, really. But it's already changing fast. I'm pretty excited to see like what's actually going to happen next, where this is all going to go. Anyone can prototype new ideas. You have an idea, before you have to like, oh, I need to like learn some coding and blah, 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 and go build this. I used to be a developer. I built like lots of stuff, that redirect script, bunch of things. The last 3 things I built, I would have estimated, well, let's just take one. I would have estimated 12 to 14 hours for me to like sit down, code that, get everything troubleshooted, work. It took me 45 minutes, like 4 revisions with ChatGPT, and I had working code. Is that the best? No. Does it work? Yes. It can be slow. It may not handle like large data sets, but just as a proof of concept, or if you got time to wait, it's amazing. So anyone with an idea can now just run with it. Everyone in this room is probably going to have like 50 bajillion ideas, and you can just go build the thing now. It's amazing. It's like instant notifications, basically. You know, Fabrice talked about Index Now. Like we're literally using that. It's going to be basically you make a change on the page, it notifies Index Now, that notifies us. We go crawl the page like seconds later. Then we can tell you if you screwed something up, literally seconds after that. Wow. But what do you do with that? Like, there's just, faster notifications, whatever. Cloudflare workers or JavaScript. JavaScript has better support. Cloudflare workers, really cool, let you change all the code on the page before it's ever served to bots or users. Can y'all see where I'm going with this yet? There's a thing that got titled Edge SEO by a guy named Dan Taylor. I still argue it should be serverless SEO. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You can automate practically everything. I'm actually convinced that about 95% of tech SEO issues, all those things I don't care about, imagine having a system that's just like, here are all these things that you're never going to assign anyone to fix. Click a button, say, I want you to fix those. It's a lot of AI scripts and stuff that you could literally automate, like, oh, I need to do 20,000 meta descriptions, okay? Like, let me give an intern 2 months, or let me click a button. 2 minutes later, the AI is done. Click a button, boom, implemented. I got 10,000 pages marked no index. Oh, they should be indexed? Click a button, indexed. We are there. We've been there for years. This has been possible. We have a system coming that's going to do this, by the way. It's called patches. It's going to be awesome. So I have some ideas about what is actually next. We could talk about that if y'all want. Yeah. You do? No. Then I won't do it. No. We'll talk after. Over drinks. Over drinks. We'll talk. No, there's a lot of creative people in this room. There's a lot of creative people in our industry. I'm really excited to see what we're going to come up with, what the next generation is going to come up with. It really is exciting times. I hope y'all had a really good time at the conference, that your mind has been expanded, that you got some new ideas. And I want to thank you all for coming here. Really, really appreciate it.